The atmosphere in that dark place felt somewhat tense. Despite the crystals floating around and the sound that produced, you could witness the disturbing silence among the people present at that moment. The three warriors saw the old man in front of them with a serious look. Despite seeming friendly, they did not let their guard down at any time, especially Hit, who was trying to analyze the old man to try to find out his true intentions. "Who are you?" Goku would dare to ask about the three. Somehow he had to break this awkward silence. The old man would give a big sigh to put a serious face on the three people in front of him. "My name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki, better known in my world as the Rikudo Sennin." That strange violet-eyed guy would appear, confusing our protagonists since they had never heard of such a person where they lived. Hagoromo. Jiren would start confused, trying to remember any name known or related to him in his universe. Otsutsuki? He would end up just as confused or more confused than the member of the Pride troops. That last name was one of the stranger than he has heard. Riku what? Goku would question, not knowing anything about the subject, and especially that nickname so strange and difficult to pronounce. Rikudo Sennin Son Goku. Hit would give a sigh of annoyance when remembering how stupid and brutal he could be. To be the scion when he wanted to. Let's get to the point. What do you want from us? Jiren would rush the strange subject, causing him to get nervous knowing what these infallible warriors are capable of if they got angry or decided to fight, and he was alone against the three of them in a fight. He wasn't going to have a very good time, so to speak. "Please, I need your help urgently," Hagoromo would say, causing intrigue in the three by not waiting for said request and the hasty way in which he asked for it. Help? For what? Goku didn't understand anything and was already starting to get impatient. And the truth was he was not one of those people who like to wait too long for things. "To protect the world that I create." Those words would make the three of them open their eyes a little in surprise. That favor was something surprising even for them. "Protect your world? What do you mean, old man?" Hit would seriously look at the Rikudo as well as his companions. Protecting a planet? He was surely a very strong enemy if they needed the three of them together for this strange job. "Exactly, the world is in danger and I need your help to avoid a catastrophe that will bring it to an end. I beg you." The Rikudo would look at how the three warriors looked at him with serious doubts. "What if we refuse?" Hit would ask in a threatening way. Despite not being able to move, he was not going to let someone force him to do something he didn't want to do, and even less so if there was no payment in between. "It's impossible to refuse." "Assassin Hit, I have used all my abilities to bring you to this world." The three most powerful mortals of the 12 universes would open their eyes with surprise and concern upon understanding those words. If the old man said that he used all his energy to bring them, that meant they couldn't come back. How can we not be able to come back? They are going to kill me if I hadn't returned to Earth. Especially Bulma if I don't go to her birthday party. Our favorite scion would scream in a frightened and historic way. While his two new rivals did not say anything but concern was evident in their eyes, that situation had become very complicated. "Calm down, Mr. Goku." The three looked at the wise man who was watching them with great calm. "Once you finish this job, you can make the decision to return to your world if you wish." Through her violet eyes I would see how the three breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this news. It was great news to know that they were not going to be trapped for life in that place. "So, we just defeat the one who causes problems on their planet and that's it? We can go back?" Jiren would think that the mission was very easy, especially if Son Goku and the assassin of Universe 6 go with him. It would only take them about 5 minutes to finish everything. I would like to say yes, Mr. Jiren, but no. Things are not as simple as they seem. Now, if they didn't understand anything, they were just supposed to defeat the one who tormented their world and let them go back to their dimension. What problems did this strange old man really have? The enemies of those who you speak will appear in the not-too-distant future, for therefore, they must stay for a while for the expected facts and events to occur, otherwise, they could suffer inexplicable and terrible alterations. The wise man would see how the three of them would be paying attention to the matter. Well, his return depended on this strange mission. Alterations? The son would ask the old man who nodded seriously. "Look at this." The bearer of the Rinnegan would point to one of the blocks, which he was projecting. A kind of memory or specific moment. In it you could see a large village with one of the most beautiful climates. It had a large tower in the center as well as many businesses of all kinds, and the most notable were the faces carved into a nearby mountain. With happy villagers and men who were supposed to be the caretakers patrolling as normal, all was peace, until the clouds blocked the sun, covering the beautiful panorama formed a few moments ago. And from the highest mountain, a rather curious young man would appear. He had a suit that was predominantly blue and black. He had white hair, blue eyes, a pendant on his neck that carried a flower made of paper, a beautiful katana in his left hand, and in his right hand a sword with a skull hilt. This boy would stand on one of the heads that were carved in the mountain next to the village, and with force he would exclaim a few words. "Canola! Your demon has returned, and will bring with it the destruction of the village." After that scream, that young man, he would launch into the village to begin an endless massacre, from which our three favorite warriors looked away when they saw what would follow next. As you saw, if you don't do something, this could be the future of my world. The white-skinned being would notice the Scion's displeasure upon hearing this news. "I beg you, gentlemen. I want you to avoid unnecessary deaths in the world. I know that you can do it. You have a strength much greater than mine or that of anyone in my world. I do not want any more lives to be lost, lose in vain for my son's ambition." The latter would leave the three baffled by knowing who was responsible for the atrocities in the world of the wise man. "Wait a minute. Are you saying that your son is the cause of the problems that occur on your planet?" Hit would see the Rikudo, who lowered his head in sadness. "Well, he is not directly my son in blood, but I feel him in spirit." The ancestor would see how the three of them were trying to understand the situation, although it was very confusing for them. "I will tell you the history of my world completely, so that you can better understand my words." And thus the Rikudo would tell them the whole story. History of the Shinobi world to our warriors, the Shinju, Kagaya Atsutsuki, him and his brother Hamura, his children Indra and Azura, and subsequent events such as the Three Ninja Wars, all with great detail, leaving mortals fascinated. Three most powerful of the 12 universes. Without a doubt it was a story worthy of a movie or fantasy. "So that Madara guy is causing problems in your old home." Goku would see how the old man would shake his head, causing a big question mark in his head. That guy was supposed to be the cause of wars and most of the problems, or not? He is being manipulated just like my son Indra, all because of my mother's creation. Black Zetsu, he altered the stones of the Uchihas, completely deceiving them, so that they would do a forbidden technique, and that way they could achieve the long-awaited peace in the Shinobi world, when in reality it is quite the opposite. Now Goku would nod his head, finally understanding the problem. That Zetsu did have great evil in his heart. All those atrocities he did, the deaths he caused, somehow they made him angry. "Then I will go." Jiren and Hit, they would look at the Scion, who was with a determined look on his face. "I'm not going to let many people die because of that despicable being." Quite ironic, since the Scion was the one who endangered the lives of 8 universes for his desire to fight against powerful rivals a short time ago. But throughout these 12 months he learned his lesson, and he wasn't going to let another do the same thing as him. He was going to stop that damn thing no matter what. As a member of the Pride Troops, it is my duty to keep people safe from all evil, and above all I must protect them from danger. I'll go too. Everyone would now look at Jiren, who had a serious face, but that denoted conviction in his words. "I have a pending job with Son Goku. I guess I'll go," the assassin would say with a slight smile on his face. He would not leave his work with his new rival unfinished, even if he had to do this mission in the middle. "Thank you very much. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I will only give you 2 warnings before leaving." Rikudo would see how the 3 warriors were paying attention again. "I have told them to save innocent lives, but out there are people who don't deserve it." Jiren, Hit, and Goku would understand where the matter was going, especially when noticing the tone the old man used, the gray one. He would answer immediately to clarify doubts. "We will only do it in extremely necessary cases." The Scion and the murderer, they would nod in support of their partner. The Rikudo would smile before answering them. "Very well, now regarding the other thing, a strange energy has been appearing lately, one that I am totally unaware of." This completely captured the son's attention. "An energy? The old man would nod his head, confirming his question. That's right, that energy is too powerful to come from my territories. I suppose it must come from some different dimension or alternate universe. This greatly excited the black-haired man. So, an energy from another dimension? This gets increasingly interesting. The warrior from Universe 7 would exclaim with enthusiasm marked on his face. I only ask that you put an end to that energy. We don't know what evils it could cause if it had a physical body. It is better to save ourselves the trouble. The white-haired man would clarify, making the scion depressed. But this will only be more boring, and we will not be able to know his true strength. Goku made childish pouts at the old man, who shook his head. I beg you, Goku, we must not allow the enemy to get stronger. You must finish him off when you have the chance. The sage of the six paths would speak patiently to the black-eyed. Don't worry, old man. We will take care of it if Son Goku does any mischief. Hagoromo would thank Hit, who received a confused look from the scion. Okay, it's time to go. I hope you guys change the Shinobi world for the better, and above all, put an end to all evil. Suddenly the same light that had previously blinded them envelopes them and they begin to disappear. One last thing, please find and take care of my successor. You will recognize him with the naked eye. I know we will see each other very soon. But until then, good luck. It was the last thing our protagonists heard before completely disappearing from that strange place. Ninja World, forest near the country of waves. A light would be present in the middle of a thick forest, showing our protagonists disoriented and confused, observing their surroundings. Apparently this is the place that Hagoromo told us about. Hit would place his hands in the pockets of his suit looking at the panorama. This place was similar to. It is similar to the Earth. Goku would say, seeing the remarkable resemblance to his planet, anticipating the thoughts of the purple-skinned being. I feel very low energies, but at the same time very different. Jiren would feel the presences of the planet in case he had to take precautions or they had to take care of it. I feel energies close to us. Hit would see a path along which he felt some presences of people. They were kind of weak. But they were not defenseless. What are we waiting for, friends? Come on, maybe they can help us find a place to stay and find that town. What was its name? Like that, a village hidden in the paper. Goku would walk towards the path with determination. Hidden village among the leaves, Son Goku. Hit and Jiren would give a sigh together. Sometimes it made you want to give the scion a good blow. Suddenly a big sound that would come from Goku, more precisely from his stomach, stopping them abruptly. And also find something to eat. Goku with a nervous smile would look at his companions, who looked at each other with doubt, and then follow the scion along the path, since there was no other path to take, and it was not very sensible to separate either. Nearby you would see a group walking animatedly along a path in the middle of the forest that would guide them to the country of the waves. There were 5 people, 4 men and 1 woman. The one who was in front reading an orange cover book was wearing a dress that he wears, a green vest, blue pants and sandals, with a gray hairstyle that defies gravity, a mask and a bandana covering his right eye. Was wearing a dress that he wears, a green vest, blue pants and sandals, with a gray hairstyle that defies gravity, a mask and a bandana covering his right eye. His name is Kakashi Hatake, or better known as Sharingan Kakashi, for having copied more than 1,000 jutsus, Johnny-sensei of Team 7. He was followed by a boy with a serious expression and an air of superiority. He was wearing a t-shirt, blue turtleneck with arm warmers, short white pants and blue sandals. He had onyx black eyes and hair of the same color with a strange shape of the back of a duck. This was Sasuke Uchiha, one of the members of the prestigious Uchiha clan. Next to him was a girl with a short and thin build with very pink hair. Particular, with green eyes. Dressed in a dress that predominates in burgundy and pink colors, short gray liquor pants and blue sandals. This was Sakura Haruno, one of the most useless genin of the generation and #1 fan of Uchiha Sasuke according to her, of course. Behind her was a boy who was the shortest of the 3, wearing an orange and blue suit with blue sandals, blonde hair, with some curious marks on the cheeks on his face, as well as light blue eyes. This was Naruto Uzumaki, better known as the #1 ninja to surprise people, or as civilians called him, the reincarnation of the Kyuubi, who went with his 2 hands behind his head, thinking about how not to be overshadowed by his rival. Sasuke. Next to the boy was the last person in the group. He was an elderly man, large and robust build with a curious hat. His name was Tazuna, the famous bridge builder of his town. The five were walking calmly along the path when suddenly a thick fog covers the environment, making vision difficult. Naruto hears a sound in the bushes, so he quickly throws a kunai at said position, only to be surprised that it was a simple animal, and also a small gift from her partner. "What are you doing, Naruto? Don't you see that he is a simple defenseless bunny?" Sakura would say as a reproach to her partner, who lowered his head having seen her. "Huh. How strange, those rabbits are not usually seen these days." Kakashi thought surreptitiously when he saw the strange rabbit, since it was impossible for it to appear since it was spring. When he would feel a disturbance behind his back from him, "Everyone down!" Kakashi shouted. Holding Tazuna to crouch, the jiren imitated the jounin and crouched down, only to see a large sword pass over his head, with a shinobi on top of her, arms crossed. Fence, you made it, feel my presence, congratulations." A harsh and mocking voice will alert the group that became defensive with Kakashi ahead. Zabuza Momochi, class a renegade ninja from the village hidden in the mist. Kakashi observes the standing man about his great sword stuck in the tree. Brown hair and eyes, arm and leg warmers, blue pants and brown sandals. Kakashi of the Sharingan, "It is an honor that someone like you knows me," Zabuza would say, picking up his sword and getting into a fighting pose. "Hand over the old man to me and I will let you go." Zabuza would see how the group tensed at such words. Quickly. Battle formation Manji, protect Mr. Tazuna, and stay out of this fight. They know how to work as a team, it's time for them to show it. "I will face him." Kakashi, with a commanding voice, would say to his students who, due to the atmosphere, would nod in fear. Sasuke, thanks to the killer instinct filtered by Zabuza, would be for completely out of his mind, and he would try to cut his own neck without being able to control himself. This sensation was terrifying. "Don't worry, Sasuke, I will protect them with my life if necessary," Kakashi would say with a comforting voice that would reassure the boys by briefly dispelling that strange atmosphere. "I didn't know you were a babysitter, Kakashi, look at them, they can barely stand up." Zabuza would smile mockingly when he saw the genin trembling. "I won't let you hurt them." The silver-haired man would uncover his left eye, revealing something that Sasuke knew very well. Sharingan. But how? Sasuke didn't understand how his sensei owned something from his clan. Only Uchihas were supposed to have the honor of carrying said Dojutsu. The Sharingan. Get ready, Kakashi. Once I kill you, we'll rip out that eye. With Malaysia, Zabuza prepares to attack the sensei of Team 7. A few meters from the battle between the ninjas. Did you really become stronger than before, Goku? The three most powerful mortals would talk to each other as they headed to their destination, and the scion, in the process, would be telling them about his hard training throughout that year that was not known. They had seen. That's right, Jiren. Just like I have perfected new techniques. I am very excited to try them with you. Goku with a smile would see Jiren, who would nod his head, but a small smile too. Assassin of Universe 6, he would look at the member of the Pride troops who returned the gesture. I apologize for my behavior in the tournament. The red-eyed man would remain with his eyes open in sign of surprise. I didn't expect that from the warrior of Universe 11. Although it was a bit short, it sounded like a sincere apology. It doesn't matter. With those simple words, the matter was settled and buried in the past. Also, I would like to have a fight against you two to see my limit. Hit would say with a challenging look at his companions, who attended with the same look. Apparently Son Goku infected them with his habit of fighting and getting stronger. I'm hungry, where will there be a place to eat? Goku lamented when he didn't see any place or animal to cook nearby. He must have eaten on Lord Beerus' planet before coming to this place. When Hit was about to say something, they would see a scene that was somewhat peculiar to them. They would see some people, one with a large sword holding a second subject and a shield made of water. 3 boys already protecting an old man. It's time for them to die. The guy who had the great sword makes some strange hand poses for the 3 most powerful mortals in the 12 universes, and out of nowhere a clone or something similar appeared. Similar to the man with the sword, he was made of water, that is, and he would address the children quickly. The guy with the sword would shout with homicidal intentions towards Kakashi's students, who would close their eyes waiting for the sad end of their young lives. The atmosphere in those forests was very tense. The resounding silence gave them away. Everything was very quiet. No one was saying anything. Those present were too stunned watching that man in the orange suit, who deflected the cut of sword of one of the most powerful renegade ninjas in the shinobi world as if nothing had happened. Who are you? The Zabuza clone would ask while trying to use force to cut off that meddler's hand, but he wouldn't have any success. Was that hand made of stone or something? It was impossible to cut it off. He would inevitably back away looking. To the new enemy that crossed his path, the renegade ninja tried to see some anomaly in that guy, but he seemed like a normal man, although deep down, he knew he wasn't. Something was disturbing him and he couldn't figure it out. My name is Son Goku. He now identified as Goku, who had a serious face directed towards the ninja with the great sword. He was not going to let that lunatic murder these children. You also dare to get in the way of my mission, Son Goku? Perhaps are you also from the village of the Leaf? Zabuza would smile when he saw that he had another prey for his sword Kubikirabak, but the question left the scion somewhat doubtful. Zaldea of the Leaf? I think they had confused him with another person. I don't understand anything you're asking me, but I won't allow you to hurt these people. Zabuza would begin to laugh mockingly. Who did he think he was? Orange idiot? Did he think he could stop me? Me? One of the 7 swordsmen of the mist? What stupidity! Ha ha ha, friend, what a laugh you give me. I don't know how you stopped my sword from cutting, but it was just luck. Nothing but luck. But he saw that guy was just waiting for him patiently without fear, as if he was confident in his strength. Go ahead, idiot. Clank, but to the surprise of Zabuza and those present who were observing the facts. Goku stopped the blade again with a single finger. The swordsman began to cut non-stop, trying to give him even a wound, but the scion stopped them as if it were nothing with his finger. And to the brunette's dismay, it seemed as if that man was not taking it seriously, since he was now with a small smile. But how? The Momochi, he would step back without understanding how it was possible that this guy could stop his cuts with a simple finger. It bordered on the absurd. No shinobi could do this. No one had the reflexes to stop such sword attacks with one hand, and even worse, with one finger. You better give up. The difference between our powers is too big. Goku would watch as the swordsman would frown at him. Sign of frustration. Were they perhaps underestimating him? Perhaps him weak? Zabuza Momochi being a class of renegade ninja? Damn you, don't make fun of me. The renegade would attack once again without caring about the orange guy's warnings, but to the astonishment of everyone present. Goku was no longer there. But he was still next to the Zabuza that had Kakashi imprisoned in the water prison. The black-haired man would deliver a two-contained blow to the mouth of the swordsman's stomach, sending him flying to a nearby tree, causing him to lose control of his body. The water technique that held his prisoner. The silver-haired man would fall to the ground, spitting water and breathing heavily for a few more seconds, and he would already be dead. The genin and the builder would watch with wide eyes as that man commanded fly with a simple blow to the renegade as if it were nothing. That blow was too accurate. Zabuza would spit out a large amount of blood between words. He couldn't understand how he was able to suffer this damage. If it was just a simple blow from that guy who looked at him seriously, he supposed that his taijutsu was really very powerful. You let your guard down considerably, trying to cut me with your sword. Now it would be better for you to go back to where you came from and take your friend who was hiding among the trees with you. The renegade ninja would open his eyes suddenly when he saw that the mysterious warrior had discovered his assistant. This was bad. Not only was he good at hand-to-hand combat, but he was also a good censor. On the part of the spectators, they were confused. They didn't see him. No assistant anywhere. What did he mean by those statements? Mr. Zabuza! It would be better to retreat. He is not in a position to continue. A guy with a hunter's mask would take the swordsman and he would take him away quickly to avoid any conflict with the scion. Goku would feel them move away, but it would stop them from importance. I was sure they would see them again at some point, but now I had to see if the white-haired guy was okay. Hey, are you okay? Did you swallow a lot of water? The one from orange suit, he would watch as the man got up with difficulty and breathing erratically, as if he were tired. Yes. I'm fine, I just need to rest. Before Kakashi finishes speaking, he would fall unconscious due to the use of his Sharingan. The Scion would catch him before he fell completely to the ground. I think he ran out of energy. Goku would observe that his reserves were very low, but the strange thing for him was that his right eye took away a lot of energy, as if he couldn't stop said wear and tear. The black-haired man would approach with the jounin on his shoulders to the boys who looked at him with their mouths open. "Hello, children, are you okay?" Goku would stand in front of the small group with a friendly smile, taking them out of the trance they were in to observe the imposing warrior in front of them. The truth is that he was taller than he looked, and judging by his physique, which in Sakura's opinion was perfect, he was a quite strong taijutsu user. "Wow, you are incredible, sir. With a single blow you stopped the guy who defeated Kakashi-sensei. How did you do it?" Naruto would exclaim with stars in his eyes, visibly excited. Goku would scratch the back of his head in shame with his only available arm. "With training and effort you can achieve amazing things, huh? What's your name, kid?" The Scion, he would ask with a nervous smile. He practically didn't know the name of anyone who was there with him. "Naruto, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves, and they are my companions. Team, she is the beautiful Sakura, the bitter boy is Sasuke Uchiha. The old man in the back is the one we must protect. His name is Tazuna, and the man who you carry unconscious is Kakashi-sensei." Naruto would introduce everyone, although Sakura and Sasuke wouldn't like it even in the main as they were introduced by their crazy partner. "Nice to meet you, Naruto. My name is Goku, but I think you already knew. I hope we can get along well." The Scion would give a big smile similar to Naruto's. They both shared more things than they seemed. Out of nowhere, the black-haired man would see some trees, making the group also turn their gaze. Although they didn't understand what they were seeing, there was nothing in that direction. "You can go out now, guys. They are good people." And it happened. Two quite tall silhouettes would emerge from the forest. They looked like normal men, but when their shape was completely revealed, the group would be paralyzed with fear when they saw them. Well, people in quotes, since they didn't. They were entirely due to having gray and violet skin respectively. Sakura fainted from fright at seeing those beings, while Naruto, Sasuke, and Tazuna were trembling and paralyzed in place. I think they are not used to seeing people of other planets. Hit would see how the girl fainted and the other three trembled with fear. If his theory was true, it would take a lot to get used to this place. Please don't eat us." Naruto would take a few steps back, making Hit and Jiren sweat a drop anime style for such a particular comment. "Calm down, they are my friends, they are good people, trust me." Goku would try to make sure that the boys were not afraid of their classmates, although the truth was, he didn't blame them. "Are you sure, Mr. Goku?" Naruto would ask the Scion, who smiled at him and nodded his head. After all, Hit and Jiren were not bad guys. "We won't do anything to them, kid. Relax now," Hit would say with his dry voice as always, making Naruto he calmed down a little, but he would still doubt those things were humanoids. He had never seen anything like it before, not even in his wildest dreams. "It's okay, but we won't take an eye off of him. Fuck me. Did you hear?" Naruto would look at them suspiciously, while the murderer and the vigilante gave a sigh of resignation when they saw that they did not fully trust him, although it was justifiable. The old hagoromo, I didn't specify that this planet was not familiar with beings from other worlds. "Hey, do you know a place to leave people? This man?" "We can't leave him in this state," the orange one would ask Tazuna, who was shocked and didn't respond. Goku approached and waved his hands in front of the builder, who was still standing there without blinking, making everyone sweated a lot when they saw this. "I think he died." Naruto would see that Tazuna after a few seconds. He would come to his senses, and with some doubts he would take them home, seeing Hit and Tazuna repeatedly. They looked to see if they were doing something. He had never seen those things. Were they some kind of modern ninjas or something similar? What surprised him a lot was seeing that they weren't human at all, since that their skin color gave them away. As they walked towards their destination, Naruto would talk to the Scion about the battle a few moments ago. He was so excited to know how he did, that he asked for advice on being as strong as him. Some shadow clones of the blonde carrying a Sakura who was still unconscious. Sasuke was looking at the ground, thinking about how weak he was for not defending himself against Zabuza. He felt like a coward when that swordsman appeared. He was an Uchiha, damn it. How the hell nobody was stronger than him? I bet that man called Goku didn't even have a clan. I have to have that power to surpass Itachi. I must. I must achieve it. That strength will be mine, the Uchiha would think, looking at the guy in the orange combat suit who was distracted talking to his partner. Blonde, with his lust for power that characterized him. He wanted to become stronger than his older brother to prove that he was the strongest Uchiha. He would deserve that title. Only him, no one else. Everyone was below him, and very soon he would make it known. From so much talk and thoughts they were having, the group did not realize that they had passed the country of the waves, and that they were heading to a house that was on the outskirts. Well, let's go. This is my home. Here we can take care of his master. Tazuna would give a long sigh having arrived home still alive. He thought he wouldn't make it, but thank you to the gods he was able to return from Konoha safely. Approaching the entrance, he knocked on the door and a beautiful woman greeted them. She was dressed in a pink sweater and a blue skirt in addition to brown sandals. Classic in the villagers without military training or ninja knowledge. Father, you're back. I thought you wouldn't make it. I was so worried. The woman would hug Tazuna with small tears in her eyes. The emotion of seeing his father alive, that means he had kept his promise, he had achieved. Now, Tsunami. I have returned and I also brought help, the help we need to free our people from this darkness that has tormented us for a long time. The woman would look at all the people he stood behind his father, but he would stare at Jiren and hit for a long time. He had never seen those people anywhere, but maybe they are a new kind of ninja, something like that. Miss, please, I need to leave this man in a bed or something comfortable so he can rest. Would you have a room or place to leave him? Goku would ask hurriedly, making the woman react, who looked at him. Sion would see the silver-haired man on his shoulders. Nodding his head, he would let them in, helping the one in orange to take Kakashi and Sakura to a guest room so they could regain their energy. 2 hours have passed since they arrived at the man's home. Builder, the genin, Tazuna, and his daughter would see the three strange visitors without taking their eyes off him at any time. Jiren was meditating on the ground without floating so as not to attract attention. He would have realized that these people he doesn't have the ability to fly or levitate. If they saw him, I was sure he would make a fuss or problem in the future. Hit was leaning against the wall with his eyes closed and would not have opened them again, even though he was not asleep. He was just avoiding those eye contacts. To tell the truth, he never thought I liked too much to attract attention or that there were a lot of people present, and Goku was sleeping sprawled out on the couch waiting for Kakashi's return. Those hours of doing nothing bored him more than necessary, and the scion he never liked to wait. Suddenly they would hear some steps coming from the stairs. Everyone turned their gaze towards them and saw that it was Kakashi, but he was leaning on a crutch to be able to move. Plus he had his Sharingan covered to don't waste chakra. Sakura also came next to him. Although she still looked a little dizzy, Kakashi-sensei. Sakura, I'm glad you're okay. Naruto would say with a sigh of relief upon seeing his partner and sensei in good condition. Students, who would nod in understanding. They could now be calmer knowing that their teacher was not in danger of death. But their students would see again how the Jounin had a serious face. Making the boys uncomfortable with Tazuna and his daughter, that serious face only meant something, trouble, and the big ones. Zabuza is still alive, and I'm sure he'll come back to finish what he came to do sooner or later. Kakashi placed his eye on Tazuna, who became tense. The builder knew that he was the target of those guys, which made him quite uncomfortable. So, to prevent that from happening, come in, the three of them will undergo hard training. Kakashi would notice different expressions in his pupils. She had to try to correct that defect in her, otherwise she won't be a good kunoichi in the future. And as for you, the Sharingan wielder, he would turn around to look at the mysterious warriors, who returned the gesture. Goku and Hit already reinstated as well as Jiren. Everything fell into a strange silence, denoting that what they had to talk about was extremely important. I'm sorry. I have forgotten to introduce myself correctly. My name is Kakashi Hatake Jounin of the village hidden among the leaves. Would you be so kind as to tell me your name and village, please? The three warriors would look at each other and then nod and Goku take a step forward. Well, as I already told the children, my name is Son Goku, and they are my friends. This one here is Hit. The son would point at the violet-skinned guy with his hands stuck in his suit and his eyes closed. And this one here is Jiren. Now Goku pointing at the guy muscular man with gray skin with his arms crossed and a serious look. Ninjas would notice that the three of them were quite tall, maybe even taller than the third Raikage. They are a bit quiet, but when you meet them you will like them, really. Goku would say with a smile. It was true. At first it was also difficult for him to understand them, but when he did, they really seemed like very good people. And I think we are not from any village. Goku would scratch his neck in a sad way. They couldn't explain where they came from. He was sure they would treat them as crazy or something similar. I see. The silver-haired man would think about the options he had on the table. There were many, but it is better to have them as allies. When he saw Goku defeat Zabuza with a simple blow, he was sure that he must be at the level of the best jounin in the village. And I didn't want to know what the two others. How about we make a little deal? Kakashi would see that the three warriors would pay attention to him. In itself, that topic interested them. What kind of deal? The Scion and Jiren would turn to look at Hit, who would ask cautiously, being the best of the three when it comes to negotiations, he would be in charge of carrying things out. They help us in our mission. And in exchange we could give them a place in our village, since I doubt anyone else would want them, because of, well, their particular appearance. Kakashi would watch Hit meditate on the proposal. It was a fair treatment from any point of view, and fair treatment is welcomed by the... What do you think? The murderer may think it's a good idea, but he wanted to know the opinion of his group too. Maybe they were not satisfied. I say yes. Besides, I think that place is where the old man spoke in his stories. Goku would remember the story that Rakuto told them about the Shinju wars and things like that. I think the same as Son Goku. Something will happen in the near future with that village, I'm sure of it. Jiren also approved the idea. He felt that great things were in store for that town. And he was never wrong in his speculations. Very well. The being from Universe 6, seeing the acceptance of his companions, decides to turn again to see Kakashi and be able to close the deal. It's a deal. We will go to that village. The sensei of Team 7 would nod in relief at having convinced the three warriors to accompany him. In his heart he feels that he will regret it in the slightest in the future. Perfect. Our mission is to protect Mr. Tazuna until he finishes a bridge for his people. The three strongest warriors of the 12 universes would nod when they knew the mission of Team 7. It was not complicated at all. In fact, the energies that they felt around it, it was no problem. If it's not too much trouble, we'll leave too. Jiren would say politely towards the builder, who with a nod would let them go. He didn't want to get involved. That guy is in trouble. Well, we're going to practice tree climbing. Kakashi would say with a grin, watching his three students who fall backwards to the ground upon hearing that they were going to do such basic training. And useless according to them. Forest near Tazuna's home, Goku, Jiren, and Hit would be in the middle of the forest away from Tazuna hunting. They did not want to disturb, and they did not want curious people to see them. They did not want them to discover their true strength. Not yet. Everyone would train in their own way. They would meditate, Hit trying to evolve his skills, and Goku doing warm-up exercises, the ones he always did before a battle. The black-haired man observed the sky carefully, seeing the figure of Goten and Gohan in the two most precious things that he had in these. Since Chi-Chi's death a few months ago, he promised her that he would take care of them with his life, but being here he felt that he was going back on his word. He had to put an end to them quickly. The problems that tormented this world, he had to do it for them. Hey! Goku would call the other two warriors, who would stop what they were doing to see what that particular Scion wanted, although they already had an idea of what he needed. How about a training fight? It's been a while since the three of us faced each other together. Goku would look challengingly at the murderer and the vigilante, who they looked at each other a moment, and then give a small smile and a nod. This would be very interesting. Well, I still have a pending job. Son Goku, and with this fight I will find out what the fruits of training and evolution. Hit would say, walking away and putting himself in his classic fighting pose that he learned when he faced the black-haired man for the first time in that tournament between Universe 6 and 7. It's time for revenge, Son Goku. This time I will obtain the victory. Jiren would also exclaim, walking away with a challenging look, what better opportunity for revenge than this? The vigilante did not have a defined combat posture. His nature was more to counterpunch and counteract enemy blows and attacks. But if we fight now, we will draw attention, and we could destroy this planet if we don't hold back. I say this because it already happened to me. The Scion would give a nervous smile when remembering their confrontations against the god of destruction, especially that time they destroyed the eastern and southern galaxies without realizing it for not having contained themselves, so was had to go back in time to stop them and avoid said catastrophe. This time the same thing was going to happen. They were in the middle of the forest and on a planet similar to the Earth. Hit and Jiren, who accompanied him, agreed with him. Here it was too easy to attract attention, and they did not know with certainty how much this planet would withstand the impacts and shocks of energy. I'll take care of it. The violet skin being concentrated for a few moments, so that out of nowhere, the surroundings would be covered by a kind of emerald red mirrors, leaving the black-eyed and the vigilante somewhat confused. We are on another existential plane. Here we can fight freely without interruptions, and we will not have to worry about destroying this place. The assassin would explain to resume his combat posture. I didn't expect less from you, Hit. Every time we see each other you always surprise me with new things. Very good, let's fight. Goku would smile with determination to proceed to get into his classic turtle-style fighting pose that he learned several years ago. This fight was serious and he would take it as such. The tension was felt at very high levels, and no wonder. The battle was about to begin between the three most powerful mortals of the 12 universes,